Yeah, you try tomorrow morning.
Yes, I do. Oh, I'm sorry.
Because I'm scheduled for vacation the last week of May.
Yeah. Then you guys have training or something?
No, so that's, I mean, for instance, we have a full-time meeting next week. Please follow me. Exactly. And you could, exactly. Thank you so much.
Right, welcome back, folks. Please be seated.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Afternoon, counsel. I don't know whether you're going to get to the issue today or what your position is with regard to these drawings and so forth. So, Mr. O'Toole, if you could bring me up to speed where you're at with all of that.
Well, Your Honor, I'm sorry to say that cooler heads have prevailed. So I don't anticipate using any of the images that could be construed as pornography, either softcore or hardcore. And I know Mr. Presti has some expertise in that. I don't, but I don't want to use that. There may be some images there I want to use, but it certainly will be nothing of what we've been speaking about.
Okay.
I guess I would still just ask that we know in advance which images those are.
I think that would probably be wise, and I think that's what Mr. O'Toole is anticipating, correct?
Well, I don't know why. I mean, if I say I'm not going to offer any images that are pornographic, I think I know what that
I
is.
just want to.
Well, if you're there 40 years ahead of the Supreme Court on that.
There'll be no image of a woman. How's that?
I suspect that's a little bit more refinement.
I don't know. I guess I don't. I'm going to maintain the request that we just know in advance which ones they are.
Well, I'm a little hesitant about tipping off on cross-examination. I'm happy to. How about this? How about I show Mr. Presti that, and as I'll honor him to make it.
Yeah, I think that he can dispose to counsel. That's fine.
Well, generally that's the protocol, is you show items to opposing counsel, so, and then you can interject an objection if you think it's something that is worthy of one.
Okay.
The truth of the matter is I probably would have excluded these items anyway, but
Okay.
since that's no longer a call for me to make,
Okay. So
I'll trust
yeah.
Mr. O'Toole to show you what he wants to utilize, and if we need to excuse the jury and take an issue up, we can certainly do that. But there's a wide variety of things in here, most of which are very similar to drawings that we've seen already. So
Yes.
okay, so Mr. O'Toole, if you just let Mr. Presti know in advance what you're going to show Mr. McEnroe, we'll go from there.
Okay.
Thank you. Anything else we need to chat about before we bring in the jury?
Not from the state. Thank you.
Mr. Presti, anything?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. when you're done chatting with Mr. McEnroe, come on up here, sir, and we'll get you situated. Ken, you want to bring in the jury, please?
rise for the jury.
And please be seated, folks. Thank you. And Mr. Poole, whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Mr. McEnroe.
Good afternoon.
Welcome back.
Thank you. You as well.
Pardon me?
Thank you. You as well.
Mr. McEnroe, when we broke for the noon hour, I was asking you some questions about the 911 recording that Erica, 911 call that Erica made at the time or just before her death. Do you recall that?
Yes, sir, I do.
And we talked about how you obviously saw her on the telephone, correct?
Yes, sir.
You went over to where she was and took the telephone from her.
Yes, sir, I did.
Where was she, Mr. McEnroe?
She was behind the couch. She was at the back of the couch at that point, about midway down, I
And when we say
believe.
back of the couch, are we talking about the big couch or are we talking about the love seat?
We are talking about the big couch.
You took the phone away from her, and what did you do with it?
As I expressed earlier, I took the phone away from her, and I don't know the exact chain of events, but I believe what happened is I looked to see if I looked at the handset, and then I put it to my ear, and then I tried to figure out how to hang it up, and when I couldn't figure out how to do that, I just tore out the battery and threw it aside. That's the chain of events.
Can you speak up just a little bit, sir?
I'm sorry, that chain of events might not be quite accurate, but I remember doing each of those things.
I'm going to hand you what's been admitted as State's Exhibit number 45.
Okay.
You take a look inside there and confirm that that is in fact the battery that you removed from the cordless phone.
I can't tell, but I'm sure it is.
And when you took it from the phone, you took it from the phone for the purpose of disabling the phone
Yes, sir, I did.
so that Erica could not finish that call that she had connected to 911.
This is correct, yes.
Then later on, after the murders, you guys left the residence,
Yes, sir.
you and Michelle Anderson,
Yes, sir, we did.
and at some point you returned to the residence for the purpose of looking for evidence.
Yes, we did.
And the purpose of looking for evidence was to conceal evidence, right?
Yes, sir, it was.
To destroy evidence,
Yes.
to cover up any involvement by you or by Michelle Anderson in these murders.
This is correct, yes.
And that's exactly what you did, isn't it?
Yes, sir, it is.
You went back to the residence,
Yes.
you went inside,
Yes.
and you began looking for certain things.
Yes, sir, we did.
One of the items that you looked for were shell casings.
Yes.
And you looked for shell casings because you knew that those shell casings came from a semi-automatic pistol.
Yes.
Semi-automatic pistol was a 9mm.
Yes.
The 9mm was handled both by you and by Michelle Anderson.
Yes.
And one issue you might have with the shell casings is you're the one who had loaded the 9mm.
Yes.
So those shell casings might have your fingerprints on them.
Yes.
And you were trying to make certain that you would destroy any evidence of your fingerprints being discovered at the scene.
Yes.
Another thing that might have your fingerprints would be the phone battery that I just handed you.
Yes.
And that was why you're interested in finding that in particular.
Yes.
And when you looked for the phone battery, you moved a number of items in the room, did you not?
Yes, I did.
I'm sorry, I cannot hear you.
Yes, I did.
You lifted up the end of the love seat.
Yes, I did.
You lifted up Nathan's arm,
Yes, I did.
looking for the phone battery,
Yes, I did.
and you never found it.
No, I did not.
But the purpose of looking for the phone battery was, of course, to destroy evidence.
Yes, it was.
Destroy evidence of your involvement in the murders of those 6 victims.
Yes, it was.
State's Exhibit 321, been marked for identification.
Mr. McEnroe, I'm going to hand you what's been marked for identification as State's Exhibit number 321. I
Yes.
want you to confirm that that is a drawing that you made.
Yes, it is.
It's a drawing that was made by you while you've been in the King County Jail.
Yes, it is.
And it's been drawing that's been was made by you sometime in the course of the last 7 years.
Yes, it is.
Is that a fair and accurate reproduction or copy of the drawing that you made?
It is.
And I say I would offer what's been marked for identification as State's Exhibit number 321. Oh, I'm sorry, Your Honor.
It's 321. Any objection to 321, counsel?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. It's admitted. Go ahead.
Thank you. Mr. McEnroe, after you threw that phone battery that I just handed you,
Yes.
you continued killing.
After I threw that phone battery, the horribleness continued, yes.
I'm sorry, the what continued?
Horribleness, yes.
And one of the things that happened in the course of you continuing the killing was that Nathan found the phone battery.
Yes.
And Nathan picked it up, did he not?
Yes.
And Nathan handed or extended an arm or hand with the battery in his hand.
Yes.
And he extended it towards you.
Yes.
As if to say, is this why you're so angry?
I think you're correct in that, yes. I'm saying that because at the time I was thinking that he showed maybe some level of weird understanding or whatever, but no, I think that your interpretation of, is this why everybody's so angry, is probably correct.
I'm sorry, you can't quite hear you.
I think your interpretation of him, of his demeanor being, is this why everybody's so angry? I think that's probably correct. This picture, this series of pictures is not of Nathan. This series of pictures is actually from a South African girl. And in that last one, she's actually reaching for the camera, the one on the bottom, just in case anybody was wondering. I can't remember exactly what her name is at this point, but it's on the original.
Can you remember how it was that Nathan extended his hand with the battery towards you?
He held it out like this.
What did you say to him?
I did not say anything. I removed it from his hand. I do not recall how.
Did you throw it again?
I probably did, but I do not recall.
Where was Nathan standing when he offered a hand with the battery in it to you?
He was standing right between, he was standing a little bit over from where he died at. He was standing at the front of the corner of the couch.
When you say the couch, do you mean the couch or
The love seat, I'm sorry.
in the corner over near the television?
In front of the corner near the television, yes.
And at this point, his father had been shot in front of him.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, he had been.
His mother had been shot multiple times in front of him,
Yeah.
but she was not yet dead.
No, you were asking me earlier if I thought that I was some kind of hero or something, and I said no, I certainly was not. No, if anybody was, I would say that quite honestly, Erica and Scott were both very heroic in this points of time. Scott, when he was being shot at, he charged at Michelle to stop her from firing and probably stop her from holding his wife and children. And Erica, even at the end, she's like, look, you don't have to do this. She's still trying to reason with Michelle, and it's, if anybody was heroic, it was them. And they were heroic. They nobody just don't sound like that, but they won't, they not, I don't know how to go off and like say just how much better of faith that they dissolved, but they did not dissolve that.
At this point, Olivia had been shot in the side, hadn't she?
I believe so. I don't really know. I didn't even know that she had been shot more than once until afterwards.
And that was Olivia's voice, Olivia's moan that we heard on that 911 call, wasn't it?
That was Olivia's shouting that we heard on the 911 call.
It is still-
Though you disagree with me on that, it's still my recollection that that is Olivia's shouting that we heard on that 911 call.
Do you recall hearing two voices on that 911 call?
I personally did not hear two voices on the 911 call. I did not hear two voices on that call. As before, you're free to disagree with me. I'm trying to be as truthful as possible. I took the oath and I mean it, and I'm trying to be as honest as possible with you right now, with all of you.
And it is your testimony that the voice that may be saying, no, not the kids, is the voice of a 5-year-old little girl?
My testimony is that it did not sound, it still does not sound to me like that's what she was saying, and that she was shouting. Just that she wasn't saying anything. She was just screaming. And maybe she had been shot by then. I don't know. I honestly don't. But it did not sound anything like, no, not the kids to me. It sounded like, if anything, maybe he's got a gun. But, again, please feel free to disagree with me if that's how you feel that, if that's what it sounds like to you, then disagree with me. That's fine. I'm just trying to tell you what it sounded like to me. So, that's honestly what it sounds like.
After you took the battery from Nathan and threw it a second time,
I don't recall if I threw it a second time, but I certainly disposed of it, yes.
what did you have Nathan do?
I'm sorry?
What did you have Nathan do?
I don't recall having him do anything.
Where did he go?
He went to his mother's side.
And his mother, Erica, was seated on the floor.
She was seated on the floor, and she wrapped an arm around him.
And by that point, she had been shot how many times?
I am unclear as to how many times she had been shot. I don't really know.
And then you walked over close to Erica and Nathan, didn't you?
I was standing over, as he moved over to her side, I was already standing in that position. Over at their side, where I was when all this came down. Somewhere in between all this, I had put, somewhere in between all this, I had reloaded Michelle a final time with 3 bullets, and she was on the other side of the coffee table. And she shouted, Erica had asked, why are you doing this? And Michelle shouted out, you hate us, you hate me, you always hated me. And Erica said, no, we love you. You don't have to do this. And I, standing here, wanting to get away from all of this, wanting to get out of all of this. And my mind latched onto us saying that you don't have to do this. And I thought, yeah, I do. And so I said so, and then I shot Erica, and I shot Nathan, and then I shot Olivia. But before I shot them, I told them that I was sorry about this, that I was sorry, and I'm sorry.
So Michelle was standing on the other side of the couch?
She was standing on the other side of the coffee table.
She had the .357 revolver?
She did, yes.
And you had just reloaded it for her?
With 3 rounds, yes.
And Michelle Anderson used none of those 3 rounds to kill those children, did she?
No, she did not.
You did.
Yes, I did.
And you told this jury, I think last week on Thursday, that you shot Erica right in the middle of her forehead so she would not have to watch her children die?
Yes, I did.
But you had no problem with shooting Erica in the forehead so her children could watch their mother die?
I would not say that at all. I did not want any of them to have to watch each other die. I didn't want any of these people to have to watch each other die. I didn't want any of them to die. I thought my options were that they had to die, and so I was trying to do it in the least awful way possible. That doesn't make it right. I'm not trying to absolve myself. I'm not trying to do anything but explain what happened so that you can understand why what happened. And I did not want them to go have to see that, but I thought this would be the least worst way of it. It was just a quick thought and action on it, and I'm not even going to pretend that it was anything other than completely wrong, because it was, but that's what I believed was necessary at that time, and I believed very wrongly.
You told us yesterday, you told us last week, that you had a disagreement with the way the autopsy photo showed Judy's face.
I do, yes.
That you did not leave her with her face looking like that.
I think her face settled a little bit in that expression. I do not recall her having that expression when she died. God knows, she had every reason to look like that, okay? As you expressed at length yesterday, she had just seen her husband shot. She had just been shot at and shot as well. She had very probably the awareness that she might have been thinking that her son and daughter-in-law and her grandchildren would be coming, and so she had every reason in the world to be thinking, to be very horrified and scared. And I'm not saying that that's not true. All I was saying is that I do not recall her having that expression on her face when she died. That's all I was saying.
That expression of terror and horror is not the way that you left her.
That's what I'm saying.
You also had a disagreement with something else about the investigation, did you not?
Being?
Pardon me?
Being?
I can't hear you.
Being?
Didn't you tell us on direct examination that Olivia was not in the position that she was found when you shot her in the head?
That is correct. She was not down like that when I shot her in the head. When I did, she was upbeat. She was
upbeat?
No!
I can't,
I know. I'm trying to go out and say, I'm trying to find the right words to explain it. I'm cutting myself off in the middle of words here. I'm sorry. No, she was up behind her mother a bit. Her head was not on the ground, and her rear, as far as I know, was not in the air. I think when the bullet hit her, it pushed her head downward and pushed her lower body upward like that. That's all.
Mr. McEnroe, you're aware that the track of the bullet runs from the back of Olivia's head out the front of her head and directly into that bullet that's in the floor?
I am aware of that, yes.
And is it your testimony that that is a coincidence that her body wound up in that position directly over that bullet?
I am not saying that that's a coincidence whatsoever, so all I'm saying is that when she was hit, that pushed her down. I'm not just that. All I'm saying is that she was not, that her face was not on the ground when I fired. I'm saying that she was up a little bit and was pushed down by the bullet, is what I'm saying. That's all. I am fully aware that bullet in the...
Can't hear you, Mr. McEnroe.
I am fully aware that bullet that was retrieved from the duct came from home. Yes.
Pages in the 322 is the month
Mr. McEnroe, I'm going to hand you what's been marked for identification as State's Exhibit number 322.
So,
I'm going to ask you if you recognize that as a page of writings, if you look at the front and the back, between you and Michelle Anderson.
yeah, this is from when we were at Meridian Ridge. Yeah.
And you're aware that that page of writings on the front and the back were taken from the 1910 residence where you and Michelle Anderson lived at the time of the murders?
I would assume so, yes.
You recognize the writing on the back?
Yes, I do.
Is it your writing?
Some of it is, yes.
Is the other writing Michelle Anderson's?
Yes.
Any reason to think that this is not a fair and accurate copy of the document, the original you're holding in your hand, State's Exhibit 322 for identification?
This looks like the original to me, yeah.
Yeah, I would
That
say it would
it's-
offer State's Exhibit 322.
The objection to 322.
No, you are.
322 is admitted. Thank you.
Mr. McEnroe, on direct examination, Mr. Presti asked you at some point, well, why didn't you call Judy and warn her?
Yes.
Call Judy and try to get some help. To call Judy and try to figure out a way out of this. And you said, if you recall, you didn't have her phone number. You remember that?
Yeah. I guess he found it.
For the record, we're looking at State Exhibit 322. Does it not say at the top, I love you, Joe, here are some contact numbers. The second number down, 425-829-0797 would be Mom's cell phone?
Yes. I'm not sure if
Mom would be
that's...
Judy?
Yes, sir, I do. I'm not sure if that's the same number that she had when she died, but yes, that does appear to be her number right there.
The
I
third
had...
number down is 425-333-4778. Do you see that?
Now that one's almost certainly the same one, yes.
What was that?
Now that one's almost certainly the same, yes.
That says Mom and Dad's home phone.
Yes.
You also had Scott and Erica's home phone, correct?
Yes.
Scott Anderson's cell phone number, correct?
Yes.
And Erica's cell phone number, correct?
Yes.
So you did have Judy's telephone number, didn't you?
I suppose that apparently if I had went and sought it out, I would have been able to find it, yes. I had not occurred to me to even search it out now. But as you've shown, if I had sought it out, I would have been able to find it, yes. I was not aware of that, but it doesn't matter now.
Mr. McEnroe,
Yes.
not only did you load the .357 revolver on December 24, 2007, you loaded the 9mm, correct?
I had chambered around for her, yes, because she asked me to. She said, "I'm not sure if I have this right," and asked me to chamber around for her. So I did. Yes, I failed on that one too.
What was that?
I failed in that respect as well.
And you even brought extra rounds with you, didn't you?
I did.
Because you wanted to be certain you had enough rounds to kill everybody in the house.
I did not believe that they were necessary. It seemed, caution seemed prudent, and that doesn't change the end result. The end result is the same. Yes.
It seemed prudent, you said?
It seemed prudent that if we're going into a situation where there might be fighting, to make sure that I have enough ammunition if it comes to that. I'm actually a very cautious person and try to make sure that I've prepared for unforeseen situations. In this one, I obviously over-prepared.
So you were like a Boy Scout, sort of, always prepared.
I was a Boy Scout.
Mr. McEnroe, I think we've established, and I think you've agreed, that none of these murders would have happened without you.
Unfortunately, yes. Unfortunately, that is completely true. Yes.
You fired the fatal bullets into 5 of the victims,
Yes.
and you attempted to fire a bullet into the head of Scott Anderson, which would have been 6 for 6.
And I loaded the weapons as well. Yes.
In fact, one of the
You're
reasons
correct.
why, in addition to loading the weapons, these murders would not have happened without you is your knowledge of guns.
I'm not sure I would say that, but you are very probably correct.
Well, you bought the .357 Magnum revolver in 2003, did you not?
Yes, I did.
December 2003.
Yes, I did.
And you researched firearms before you bought that weapon.
Yes, I did.
In fact, I think you confirmed on the witness stand last week, did you not, that you learned that in your research that a .357 is strong enough to stop somebody.
Yes.
You told us about how you learned that a .32 is basically useless.
Yes, but she was there for that particular, when we found that out as well.
And you described a .32 as like shooting a BB gun last week. Do you recall that?
She found that out at the same time I did.
You also told the jury about how you learned that hollow point bullets are not likely to go through walls.
Yes.
Not only did you research weapons, Mr. McEnroe, you test-fired these weapons, did you not?
I test-fired each of them once.
You experimented in particular with the .357, did you not?
I more experimented with drawing it and carrying it than actually firing it, but yes.
Well, actually, Mr. McEnroe, did you not experiment with firing the .357 both one-handed and two-handed?
I believe I fired it once two-handed and once one-handed.
You remember telling Dr. Sally Johnson, the defense expert, that you fired the .357 one-handed and two-handed and discovered that you preferred firing it two-handed?
Yeah.
You also remember you experimented with the grips.
I tried to find I didn't like how the grip that came with it was cut open on the bottom, so I tried to find a different grip for it. I had ordered the wrong grip, and sending it back would require going down to the post office and all this other rigmarole, and so...
Keep your voice up, please.
Yes, and all this other rigmarole, so we never did change that grip out.
And you found from your research and from your test firing that you preferred the rubber grip because the kick wasn't quite so bad, correct?
I'm not sure what the kick would have been with any other type of grip, because that's the kind of grip it came with, and that it did not have much of a kick because of it. At least I assumed it was because of the rubber grip.
Do you remember telling Dr. Johnson that you preferred the rubber grip because the kick was not too bad?
As I said, I believe that the reason that the kick was diminished was reasonable was because it had that grip on it.
You told us last week that you reloaded the revolver, you confirmed that today, and you gave
Yes.
it to Michelle Anderson.
Yes.
You told us last week on direct examination that when you gave it to Michelle Anderson, you were not sure it started with a full chamber. Do you recall that?
This is correct.
And you said the reason is because you usually kept the first chamber empty as a safety.
Yes.
But that's not true for December 24th, 2007, is it?
I believe I voiced my doubts about that. I'm not completely certain one way or the other. I don't believe I had the empty, but I believe it was full.
You believe it was what?
I believe it was full.
Didn't you tell us last week you didn't know how many bullets were in it?
I don't know. Like I said, I believe it was full, but I'm not sure.
Well, Mr. McEnroe, you're aware, and you told Dr. Sally Johnson, did you not, that you're aware that a bodyguard for Elvis Presley kept the first chamber of his revolver empty. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Do you recall telling Dr. Johnson that on the day of the murders, the first chamber of your revolver was not empty? Remember that?
I don't remember saying that, but that's entirely probable. That's what I was just saying.
You remember the reason why you told Sally Johnson that?
I'm not sure.
Quote, because you knew you were going into a combat situation, unquote.
Yeah, that sounds accurate.
So as you sit here today, is there any doubt in your mind that you had a fully loaded .357 revolver when you went up that hill to kill the Andersons?
No, I do not believe there was any doubt.
There was any,
Doubt.
And Michelle Anderson did not know nearly as much about weapons, about firearms as you did she?
Actually, my belief was that she had had some training that she had had some firearm training before I even met her. From her father, in fact.
Pardon me?
She had told me that she had had firearms training from her dad.
You were aware, were you not, as Rick Wyatt told us from the crime lab, you've got a chamber around in that 9mm to be able to fire it, right?
I'm aware of this, yes.
And when that day began, December 24th, 2007, there was no round in the chamber of the 9mm, was there?
This is correct.
You had to do it for Michelle Anderson for her to be able to fire it.
She asked me to do that for her, yes. I said that just a little while ago, yes.
But what you said is she asked you to do it.
She did, and I did.
What I'm asking you is, didn't you tell Sally Johnson, Dr. Sally Johnson, the reason you had to chamber around was because she didn't know how to do it?
She asked me to, and because she wasn't sure she would get it right.
And my question for you, Mr. McEnroe, is didn't you tell Dr. Sally Johnson that you did it because she did not know how to do it herself?
I don't know how she wrote it down. She asked me to do it, so I did.
Are you telling this jury that you did not say that to Sally Johnson?
I'm not sure exactly the words that I used with Dr. Sally Johnson.
Are you claiming now that Michelle Anderson knew how to chamber around, but she just simply asked if you would do it for her?
I am not saying that, no. I am saying that she asked me to do that, and, I mean, this is just a question of semantics, I guess. I mean, does that mean that she did not know how to... If she's asking me to do it, she probably did not know how to go and do it. I thought that she would have known that. So...
Mr. McEnroe, this is a question of semantics?
Whether or not... I'm not trying to nitpick here. I'm not trying to split hairs. I'm assuming she did not know how to chamber around because she asked me how to do so, because she asked me to do so. So I chambered it for her. Now, if she knew how to do it, she probably would not have asked me to do it. So I have to assume that she did not.
And that's exactly what you told Sally Johnson.
That's probably what I did tell her, yeah. I honestly don't remember exactly what I told her. I'm not trying to dizzle here. I honestly don't remember what exactly I told
I'm
her.
not trying to.
Dizzle. I don't remember the exact words I told her. I'm not trying to dizzle or nitpick or anything. I'm just saying I don't know if that's the exact words that I told her.
Mr. McEnroe, do you see the difference between chambering around for Michelle Anderson because she did not know how to do it and simply chambering around because she asked you to do it?
I'm sorry, but I had tried to already go over the fact that I thought that she did know how to do these things and that she would go off and do these things on her own. Now, the fact that, and I believe that I had already remarked that the fact that she needed me to do that for her points out that actually I am that much more culpable because I chambered it for her. If she did not know how to do it, then these guys really weren't in any danger until I try to go and protect her by making sure that she was not going into a situation with an unloaded gun.
And if she did not know how to do it, as you told Dr. Sally Johnson, none of these people would be dead.
As I said earlier today, and I think yesterday as well, none of these people would have been dead. No. As I said, that just makes me that much more culpable in this. I failed on that level as well.
You remember Michelle Anderson telling Detective Tompkins she didn't even know how to load the magazine for the 9mm.
Again, that surprised me because, as I'd said previously, she had made a big deal about how she did know about guns, how she had been trained in firearms. I thought she was just asking me to do these things just because that's how she is. I didn't realize that she did not know how to handle these things. If I had realized that all I needed to do was just unload the guns. But I didn't. Didn't realize that, so I didn't do it. And so everybody died, and so it's my fault, yeah.
I'm sorry, we can't hear you.
And so everybody died, so it's my fault, yeah.
Mr. McEnroe, you claimed to the jury on direct examination that the .357 revolver wasn't really yours. Do you recall that?
I don't recall it, but I assume that you're correct. I don't doubt it.
Well, Mr. McEnroe, you testified last week regarding the
No, I'm
purchase
just
of
saying
the
that I don't-
.357, did you not?
Okay, I'm just saying that I don't recall saying that. That's all. Okay, I don't doubt you at all. I'm just saying I don't remember saying it. That's all.
You remember telling this jury that the .357 is in my name, meaning your name.
Yes.
You bought it for Michelle Anderson.
Yes, sir, I did.
That's not true, is it?
It is true. I bought it for Michelle. But then she felt that the .357 was too big for her, so she went back. So she wanted to get a different gun. So we did. This time it was actually in her name. It was a 9mm.
So the .357 that you purchased in your name,
Yes.
that you kept,
Yes.
that you used,
Yes.
was really hers?
Yes. I had originally gotten it for her. And she would remind me every so often that that was her gun. Yes.
And it's your testimony that you purchased that .357 in your name, and the master of control and domination, Michelle Anderson, never had a problem with it.
She did have a problem with it, but the thing is that that's the law. When you buy a gun and you're paying for it, then it's in your name.
Did she ever even fire that weapon, Mr. Mack, before December 24th, 2007?
I do not believe she actually fired either of the weapons.
I'm sorry, can't hear you.
I do not believe she actually fired any of the weapons.
Only you did.
Only I did.
Mr. McEnroe, so that we're clear, you and Michelle Anderson planned what you were going to say to the police, did you not?
Yes, so we did.
You had no intention of turning yourselves in, did you?
No, so we did not.
You did not return to the property on December 26, 2007 to come clean, to admit responsibility, or to acknowledge accountability, did you?
No, so we did not. We did eventually, but that's not what we went there for now.
You both, it was your intention to lie to the police to see if you could get away with it, was it not?
Yes, sir, it was.
And you heard Michelle Anderson's confession played here, did you not?
Yes, sir, I have.
And Detective Tompkins, talking to Michelle Anderson, talked to her about the story that you guys were going to go off to Las Vegas and get married. Recall that?
Yes.
And he said to Michelle Anderson, question, what do you suppose Joe was saying to the police right now? And her response was that we wanted to get married. Question, so is that the story you guys agreed on? Her response, yeah, but we wanted to get married anyway. That was a story that was cooked up by the two of you, right?
Yes.
Actually, more accurately, that was a story that was agreed to by the two of you, correct?
Yes.
But it was cooked up by you
Yes.
to cover up the murders.
Yes.
You're the one who came up with the alibi, didn't you? Not Michelle Anderson.
This is correct, yes.
You're the one who came up with the details to tell the police. Is that not true?
Yes.
It was not Michelle Anderson.
This is correct. All she came up with was the desire to kill people.
Say that. Why don't you say that
All
loud?
she came up with, hold on, throat's really dry. All she came up with, all she came up with was driving me into this position, driving this into, this has to happen. I was the one who was trying to handle things once everything went the way that she had wanted.
She never came up with a cover story for this at all.
No, she had said that she had a plan and that she had everything under control, and that when I voiced my doubts, she just said, no, don't worry about it, I got everything under control. And then when everything, and that I should just trust her. And then when everything happened, she had no cover story at all. She had nothing of, she had no next step of what to do after everything happened. She had only thought as far as, okay, if nobody heals us, then everything's going to be fine, which is...
Nobody what?
If nobody heals us, then everything's going to be fine. It's just an utter absurdity.
I'm sorry,
But I didn't...
it's hard to hear you, Mr. Mack.
It's just an utter absurdity, I'm sorry. And that's as far as she planned. She said, just trust me, and so I did.
And when Michelle Anderson could not kill her father, you did.
Unfortunately, yes.
And you killed Judy.
As I've said, yes.
You tried to shoot Scott in the head.
As I told you, I have, yes.
You
I
shot
did.
Erica in the head.
I did.
You shot Olivia in the head.
I did, yes.
You shot Nathan in the head.
I did, yes.
You then took charge of the cleanup.
I did that too, yes.
You moved Judy's body to the shed.
Yes.
You moved Wayne's body.
Yes, I did.
You took charge of cleaning up the blood.
Yes, I did.
And you waited for Scott and Erica and his family.
Yes.
And when time came to get out of there, you're the one who made the decision to leave because you wanted to get away with it.
When the time came to get out of there, after everybody was dead, I stood there for a moment, trying to decide why I shouldn't kill myself. And then once I had, for whatever reason, decided not to kill myself, I said, okay, let's go. So we did.
And you told the jury, I think, last Thursday and yesterday, that you felt that the children had to be killed or you guys could not get out.
I thought that the only way that we could leave was through them, unfortunately, yes.
We can't hear you, Mr. McEnroe.
I thought that the only way we could leave was if they were dead. And yes,
You made that decision, not Michelle Anderson.
that was the belief that she had hammered into my head, yes.
Did she hammer the alibi into your head too?
No, she did not.
That was all you, wasn't it?
That was me trying to protect her.
And the alibi that you came up with was that you would go, or the plan was that you would go to Canada.
When we're going out, I had asked her, it's like, where are we going? She didn't even have any idea where to go afterwards. She had actually wanted to go back and get her call from Scott. And I'm like, no, that's...
Please keep your voice up. It's hard to hear.
I'm sorry, She had wanted to go back to get the call from Scott, and I'm just like, no. This is one of the few times that I had actually spoken out like this, and it was just, no, we're not going to do that. Where else are we going to go? Something like that. And so we went, she was saying something about, she had, for years, kept talking about this guy who had went to Canada with some...
Please speak up a little bit.
For years, she had been talking about this guy who had went to Canada, and he'd had, like, knives or something in his... knives and whatnot in his thing, in his truck, and he crossed over, so I'm like, okay, let's go to Canada then. Just grabbing at something.
So the woman who was in complete control wanted to go get the car from Scott's, but you were able to stand up to her and say no.
After everything happened, she was calm for a while, and I was able to act in a more direct fashion.
So after everything happened, you were able to persuade her, able to overcome her manipulation and control.
No, that's not what I mean. What I mean is that the shock of it affected both of us, and it left me being more direct. I was able to act in a more direct fashion of, okay, look, that was not necessary, and we are not getting the car, and so let's go, we have to go. Just, how about Canada? That sounds as good as anything.
So it sounds like the shock of the murders that you committed sort of changed the nature of your relationship.
Only for about a day.
But you could stand up to her.
Only for about a day. Then we went back to the way that she went back to being her. She was edging back into her controlling mode, and I was edging back into my thing. Well, the only thing that was holding me together at that point was keeping her safe.
That's
If
not
we-
completely true, is it?
If we had walked away, I would have killed myself. That's, again, believe it or not, doesn't change anything for me. I don't know what else you might be talking about, but
Mr. McEnroe, the day before the murder, you testified this morning that Michelle Anderson wanted to kill somebody who had almost run her off the road. Do you remember that?
and I managed to talk her out of it. Yes,
You
Pardon
did.
me?
You man.
Hold on. Didn't hear you.
and I managed to talk her out of it. Yes,
So before these murders ever happened, before the shock of these murders ever occurred, you were able to talk Michelle Anderson out of killing somebody.
there was a large number of people that I had talked her out of killing.
You could talk her out of killing a single soul stranger, but you
But I wasn't able to talk her out of.
Excuse me, Mr. McEnroe, I'm not thinking.
I'm sorry, Saul.
But you have no ability to talk to her about killing her family.
I actually spent quite a lot of time trying to talk her out of it, and every time I talked her out of it, she would come back a month later with some reason why that didn't work, why it was totally okay with her, why it was, again, necessary. So I talked her out of it time and time again, and then she would just come back with another reason why it was okay, why she needed to do this.
Mr. McEnroe, isn't it true that you could talk her out, you talked Michelle Anderson out of killing that poor woman, if this even ever happened, the day before the murders, who ran her off the road, because it was the promise that you told her she could kill her family, remember? You don't want to fuck things up for tomorrow. Remember saying that to her?
That was one of the reasons that I was using, yes.
But she was the one who was in control, right? Not you.
Again, if you don't believe it, then don't believe it. It doesn't matter. I took an oath, and I'm trying to be as honest as I can up here with you.
The plan that you came up with, Mr. McEnroe, was first to go to Canada, right?
Yes, and as we're going to Canada, I don't know if this is before or after I realized that we were way the hell out. And I asked her at some point, so, whatever happened to that guy who went to Canada? Did they ever catch him? And she's like, yeah. So we decided that we should maybe go somewhere else. I don't remember exactly along the lines when that happened, though. Along the lines of when that happened, though.
when you saw the police helicopter as you were returning to the Carnation property, you had already an alibi that you had come up with. True?
I already had not just an alibi, I had another. I was trying to. As I said earlier, was really hoping that if I believed that enough, that it would actually be real. And as absurd as that seems, I was really desperate for that. And it didn't work at all, obviously, but...
Can you speak up, please?
And it didn't work at all, obviously, but... Yeah, it was an alibi that I had already created that we were trying to focus on. I was trying to focus on. I don't know.
And it's an alibi that you came up with, not Michelle Anderson.
Yes.
And the alibi was you guys are going off to get married, right?
The alibi was that we were going off to get married and that I was trying... that we had told the Wayne and Judy beforehand that we were going to be eloping and that they were okay, that they were happy about the whole thing, and that we were going to surprise everybody when we came back with that. Yes.
That was your idea.
Yes, sir, it was.
And your part of your alibi was, or part of your plan was to say that you had no idea what happened inside that house on December 24th, 2007.
Yes, sir.
Your plan was that you were going to pretend that you did not know what happened.
Yes.
As you phrased it to Dr. Johnson, your idea was to come back and plead lack of awareness.
Yes, sir.
The two of you were going to come back to the scene and sort of just stumble on to a murder scene with 6 victims.
Yes, sir, this is correct.
And you were surprised that the police were there, weren't you?
I was surprised that there was so many of them and that they were so professional as to have, well, not just the conduct, but the level of their equipment. For example, the helicopter.
It wasn't the Podunk Police Department you counted on, was it?
No, sir, as I said previously, no, they were very professional and very, very... I can't think of a better word to describe how they were actually very together.
And the plan was, before you saw the police helicopters, before you saw the police were there,
Yes?
to come back to the property, to go up the hill, and to discover a murder scene, and to report it, wasn't it?
Yes, sir, it was. If, in fact, as I said, there was the small hope that maybe it's absurd to even mention, so I won't.
Oh, feel free.
Okay. As I've already mentioned previously, there was the absurd hope that maybe...
I can't hear
But
you.
there was the absurd hope that maybe by focusing on that and whatnot, that maybe that the way things should have gone would have actually been the way that things had gone, as opposed to the way things did go. But as I said, it was an absurd, desperate hope and didn't work whatsoever.
Did you say last week on direct examination that you thought, when Detective Pavlov had said that people were at the hospital, that maybe they just had been badly brain damaged?
He said that they were at the hospital, and I needed to follow up on that. I was very curious. I was wondering, did they?
McEnroe, are you seriously suggesting that after having fired bullets into the heads of Wayne and Judy Anderson, having put plastic bags over their heads, dragged their bodies out to that shed in the backyard, that you really think they had survived?
I did not think it was very likely, but since he had raised the possibility, I felt that I needed to inquire about that. I was very curious about that. I did not think it was, as I said, I did not think it was very likely, but he said that, okay, they're in the hospital. It's like, okay, so maybe?
In the your victims would have survived, they would be around to tell the police that you had shot them in the head?
It did occur to me, and it also occurred to me that if they had survived, as I said, they would have been badly brain damaged, and that would have been even worse in some ways.
So you did them a favor?
No, so I did not. All I'm saying is that if they had been badly brain damaged, that would have been very. I'm not going to say that would have been more tragic than what happened. I'm just saying that would have been tragic as well.
You told Sally Johnson, did you not, it is true, that all the details of your alibi that you manufactured were manufactured well before you got back to the house?
This is true, yes.
That you reviewed the details with Michelle Anderson?
Yes, sir.
And that Michelle Anderson would have it down for a bit, but then she would forget the details that you were giving her?
Yes.
You said Michelle would have it down for a minute, but then she would just spaz out. Your words, not mine.
Yes, sir. This is correct.
Because this was completely your alibi.
Yes, sir. This is correct. My job was to try to protect us.
And you kept up that lie until you were painted into a corner by Detective Pavlovich.
And I kept up that lie until I finally believed that she had started talking. Once I believed that she had started talking, I had no reason not to talk, because what I was trying to do was protect her.
Up, please?
Once I believed that she was talking, I had no further reason not to talk. I had no further reason not to withhold it. I had no further reason to withhold information, because if she was talking, then it didn't matter. So I tried to give him everything that he would need. Everything that you would need, in fact.
So, 30 pages after you started to confess, when Detective Pavlovich asked you at page 91, so is that story true about telling Wayne and Judy that you were going off to elope? And your response was, absolutely. That was a lie, wasn't it?
I'm not sure of the context, but it sounds... If it was the way that you had said it was, then I would agree that it was incorrect. Yes.
It was a lie.
If it's the way that you said it was, then I would say that you were correct in saying that it was a lie. Yes.
That's probably a good afterwards.
Great. Ladies and gentlemen, leave your notebooks and pens there on the chair. We'll excuse the jury room for a few minutes. We'll see in about 15 to pick up where we left off. Please don't discuss the case amongst yourselves. Thank you.